everybody, welcome to Iceland Illustrated with Jordan Seaburn. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Gavin, thank you.
What an amazing backdrop.
Yes.
Look at this scene.
Yes.
We climbed onto a glaciated ridge on some basaltic rock, and we're overlooking a huge river feeding one of the largest waterfalls in the country. But as you can see, there's so many different textures out there. There's water, there's snow, there's rocks, there's grass, there's sky. Jordan, how do we put all this together? How are we going to represent it?
Well, we can simplify everything into two different elements of design.
Ooh.
Now, the elements of design are basic building blocks of art, and most students are probably going to be familiar with shapes. Now, shapes are flat 2D objects. They have length and they have width, and we can usually just make a mark and until it crosses over in one another, make a shape. But the other thing that you can see in the area behind us are forms. Now, forms are three-dimensional. They have length and width and depth. They look 3D. So areas like the water or the snow are going to look just flat. They seem like they have one main color throughout. They don't have a lot of value. But if you take a look at the shapes that have depth behind us, those that are forms, they have value. They have differences in dark and light, and they look like they're popping out at us.
Are you talking about this kind of rocks I can see here on this cliff's edge?
Yes, those rocks on the cliff's edge, even those smaller rocks on the area behind us, all of those are forms. Those are things that we could pick up and manipulate.
So we're talking about flat objects and objects that really come to life and stand out in a three-dimensional way.
Exactly.
Now, with these two new skills, and we're going to create this landscape here, what kind of material are we going to use to make this? Is it going to be a collage? Is it going to be paint?
I think colored pencil is probably going to be best because that way we can control how hard we press down to get lighter and darker points. Now, with colored pencils, you can press down harder and the color becomes stronger and becomes flatter, so you can use those for your shapes. When you're doing the forms, however, you're going to want to get a little bit more control with how hard you're pressing down, harder in some places and then lighter in others, so that you can pick up the white of the paper underneath and make the area look lighter.
Wow, and students can really see that. You can see the light glimmering off of these objects. Now, when we've finished our wonderful illustration, we've got the landscape done, the water, the rocks, the snow, it's all looking great. What are they going to do, as always in this course, to give it back to make the world a bit better?
Well, I think one of the best things that we can do is take what you've learned about shapes and forms and the differences between them and show them to younger kids. Because younger kids usually are just learning their shapes, triangles and squares and rectangles, circles. They might be just starting to understand them, but then you can introduce them to forms. Things like pyramids, cones, cylinders, spheres, all of those different three-dimensional objects, which will allow them to explore their world that much more.
Wow, it's so easy. Once we have all of these skills and techniques to bring images really to life. And don't forget, we need to make sure that we're keeping on track with our images every single week, because we're going to be having a gallery in week 10 and selling off our art pieces to raise money for charities all around the world. Jordan, it's been amazing.
Thanks so much, Gavin.
See you next week.